to Magnificently Black. I am your host, Seven,
And I'm Jen.
Here on the Magnificently Black podcast, we will share our journey through life as we navigate through careers, entrepreneurship, financing, travel, and all things Black. Let's talk.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Magnificently Black. I am your host, Courtney, and today we have a special guest, Trevis Bailey. We will be talking about branding and why branding is so important. Jen, would you like to introduce our guest today?
All right. Good morning, everyone. We have, like she said, a special guest, Trevis Bailey. He is a entrepreneur and a branding business owner, and he also is a motivational speaker. I've saw him do some speaking before with high school kids, and I'll let him go ahead and introduce himself.
Well, thank you for the intro. Like they said, my name is Trevis Bailey, and my breadwinning is branding and marketing, and the way I give back is through my motivational speaking. I've been doing this for the branding side for about 11 years. I've progressed from just photography to just design to now doing both and kind of being a go-to for startups, rebrandings, organizations, churches, and even people, solopreneurs that are breaking away from their full-time jobs. So I've been very fortunate to have been doing this for the last 6 years full-time. And the pandemic put a little bit of a damper on me speaking, but I'm starting to get inquiries now to get back out there and start trying to affect change in the community. So that's me in a nutshell.
Love it. Love
Perfect.
it.
Perfect. So I'll start out with a couple of questions. Again, you said that you started doing this full time. Right now, I'm actually in the process of thinking about a transition, that's happening at my job, not by choice, and thinking about possibly focusing on something more in what I want to do longevity wise, right? With my business. Got my sole proprietor a little bit earlier, might want to build on that. So, can you give us a little idea of how you got started and up and running with it? And was it successful in the beginning or was it hardships? How was you able to bring in the amount of income you did as a full time employee with a corporation?
Well, to be if I'm honest with you, it was a little bit of give and take. Um, and just to real briefly, I got into photography at my wedding. My photographer was tremendous, and he was all over the place, and we were so impressed, and the pictures were great. And I told my wife, I was like, I think I can do that. Like, I've never had a camera, but I think I can do that. And I got an opportunity to actually shoot somebody's wedding, but I didn't have a camera. So there was a lady in my church that said, "Hey, you can borrow my camera. It's cool. Just bring it back on Sunday when you come to church." Great. Drove to Virginia. I didn't get paid for this. I did it for free, just in case if it was bad, they wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, you
Nice.
took my money."
Yeah.
um, did it for free. Shot the wedding. I think I took maybe 3,000 photos. And I
Wow.
gave them everything. And then afterwards, that's where it kind of took off from there. And so that first year, I did about 14 weddings in 12 months.
That's
So I
beautiful.
was
Wow.
getting booked a lot, but I didn't have the money management skills to back up or to show proof that I was ready for that. So eventually, I stuck with my traditional career, which was education. I was a preschool pre-K teacher,
Okay.
and um, my last job, my boss was noticing my pool of attention um,
Mm,
because I was working 9 to 5, 9 to 6, with that 1 hour break in the middle of the day. I come home from work and I'd be dad until 8 o'clock when my kids go to bed. I'd be husband till 10:30 until my wife went to bed. And from 10:30 on to maybe 2 a.m., I'm doing client projects. I'm working on websites, working on branding sheets, everything. Like I'm doing everything. And I'm getting up at 7 a.m. to start the whole process again. And what I realized was that I was burning the candle on both ends. So I
yeah.
wasn't making enough um, in my field to truly break away. This might be a little controversial, and I apologize if it is, but I really believe that the education field is built to pay people that have wealthy spouses.
Yeah,
Mm.
I
You
can
have to,
definitely agree with that.
yeah,
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 yeah.
I see that a lot more here in Georgia, that it is, you have someone that is a teacher and then someone that, like you said, that makes a little bit more. And it's like, okay, we come together, you do build a house. And then, but then it's like the teacher side, you don't have that time for yourself. You don't have, like you were
right,
saying. Yeah.
right. That was the kicker for me because like the traditional school system, I didn't have to do lesson plans and things like that. But because my school or that school was so advanced, we were teaching Japanese. We were doing a lot
Oh,
of different things, and so some of that required you to take some stuff home, and
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
it just became too much. And I'll never forget. This was in 3 months before June. So what's that? April
Yeah.
of 2016. Um, I had just hung up the phone with a client during nap time because I was trying to put on this facade like I was full time and you have to worry you can call me anytime that you need something.
Yeah.
And I that night I talked to my wife and I said I can't keep doing this. Like I can't keep
Mhm.
burning this candle at both ends. And we made a conscious decision that I was going to jump out of the plane and I was going to build a parachute on the way down.
Mhm.
And so I went to my boss and I said, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna give you a 3 months notice. I can't keep doing this." And the most comforting thing happened when I did that. And I know that my boss was different than every other employer out there, but she said, "Well, I'm glad you finally did it because we were taking bets on how long it was going to take you to actually quit because we
Oh,
Yeah.
could tell that you're coming in here on fumes."
they could
Like I was just,
see.
Mhm.
it was bad, y'all. Like it was
Yeah.
bad.
They were like, he's here, but he's not here. You were like mentally,
Exactly.
you were physically there, but it was like
Yeah.
mentally, let me go talk to my clients. Let me do what I enjoy doing. So,
Exactly. Exactly. So
Well,
I never really had the finances in place to actually make the jump. We weren't broke, but we definitely could have stand it for me to wait a little bit longer. But
mhm.
at the same time, if you know that this is for you and this is what you're supposed to be doing, you'll make it work. You may
yeah.
struggle a little, and I don't
Yeah.
recommend it to anybody. Like you might want to save the money, but
Yeah.
a mistake for me right now hurts way worse because we have 5 kids. So it's not like
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can just like we can skip a meal. No, these kids got to eat. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I got started. And it's not the most advisable path, but it worked for us.
That's
Yeah. Yeah. I've definitely being in that comfort zone and just jumping out like you said
Mhm.
is probably my biggest thing, but again, like you said, yours was a choice, mine might not be a choice. It might be a situation where in a couple of months the project trickles off and I'm going to have to make a decision to go back into the corporate world and do
Mhm.
work, or if I'm going to, like you said, build my parachute on the way down. I already have the baseline for it, so um,
Mhm.
why not do it? But it seems like, you got a handle on it and you're doing well,
Definitely.
man. It's very impressive on some of the things I see you doing. And I know you spoke with me about the mentor that you had,
Mhm.
that was great for you as well, when you were doing your website stuff. So do you recommend someone going in and reaching out for a mentor, who can guide them through it?
I do, and I also recommend that mentor be someone that you can almost fundamentally disagree with.
Okay.
And here's why I say that. My mentor is a tall white man from Oklahoma that was raised with Republican values,
Oh boy.
and
Okay.
but he loves God and he's
Hmm.
able to separate the two. And
Yeah.
so his relationship to me is invaluable. There are times where he will say things to me because at one time I wasn't doing much photography at all. I was doing a whole lot of design.
Mhm.
And he said something to me. He said, you really can't do both. Okay, I'm gonna show you I can do both.
Right.
It
Definitely.
fueled me a little bit. Like, no, no, I got this. Like, I can do this because I photography is my in the world creative expression. But
Mhm.
design, I can sit here and I can draw out ideas and I can put things on paper onto my iPad onto my computer. That's all well and fine. But having somebody that will push you, and maybe that's what I mean when I say fundamentally disagree, but um somebody that will push you and not allow you to get comfortable in your seat is
I like
necessary.
that.
So um I didn't know him. He built a website and I was trying to learn websites and I sent him a message and it was like, hey, what did you use when you did this?
Mhm.
And that turned into an 8-year friendship of him sending Christmas gifts to my kids. Um,
Oh,
like he's a very dope guy. Like his name is Mark Collier, and he has transitioned now into laser designs. Like he does
Mm.
like the tangible designs. He sells the
yeah.
design to other builders and lets them do whatever for their
Do
clients. So
that's
yeah, the guy's amazing.
That's definitely
Wow.
something I would definitely say, someone that's going to push you along that says you can't do it, but mentally it's just like I can do whatever I need to do
Right.
because I want to be successful. I want to grow. I know that I want to do this for as they say, for my family, generational wealth as well. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So if you could explain what branding is to
Mhm.
someone who might want to pick up that field, how would you describe that? I know that's a little broad, but if you
Yeah.
That's
could
okay.
just break it down for us.
Um, so for me, branding is the opportunity to create environmental awareness about your company or your cause.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
and I say it that way because a lot of my clients get really, really, really caught up in the presentation of their logo. Let's start there. But just to challenge you a little bit and to your listeners, what does the McDonald's logo have anything to do with what they sell?
Nothing. It's
But
been
every time
this
you see it, you know it.
and it's been
Yeah,
the
yeah.
same. It has not
The same. It
changed.
has not
Right.
changed. They have variations of it where you have the whole word or you have
Yeah.
just the icon, but it's recognizable because they pushed it consistently on their wrappers, in their commercials, on their fry containers, on their drinks. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us get caught up in um the presentation. Now, don't get me wrong, it should be nice. But it doesn't have to communicate all the things that you do at the same time.
Mhm.
I had someone, and I won't mention their name, someone approached me once with a vision that God gave them for a logo. And when I
Mm.
tell you it was fire coming out of something with wings on the side and a halo
Wow.
at the top, I said, listen,
That's a
I'm
lot.
not I'm not the
Wow.
designer for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
That's
Right.
a
sit here and
lot.
tell you God to tell you that, but that ain't me. I'm not that guy. Um, but
That's
it's just
hilarious.
taking the opportunity to communicate clearly what the goals of your brand are, and you do that in several different ways. But the main goal is to create consistency and trust between
Mhm.
you, the service provider, and your customers.
Hmm. Hmm. Cool. That's a perfect description, I
Right.
think. And it has let me know, I've had struggles with logos as well with people,
Mhm.
and telling me, let me find out what I want from my logo. And I said, well, it needs to just be something simple.
Simple.
You're going to bring out the rest later,
Right.
in your
Mhm.
website. You don't have to put it all in your logo. So yeah, I understand exactly what you're coming from.
I know you
Um,
do.
yeah, I know. And look, I still need some help with it. I'm
Yeah.
struggling. I'm right now. I'm juggling how to select my clients. For instance,
I
I
was
will
going to
start
ask that
working
too.
on a project with
Mhm.
someone, and then they're all in it. Then they kind of back away. Now, mind you, I'm not charging the money most website designers are charging. They're charging big dollars for these things, right? So
Mhm.
then I had a client say, well, let's wait until October. I'm getting married, in a couple of months. Let's wait until I'll come back in October. Never came back in October. And then I just got
Mm.
an email probably last week about, I have my logo now. We're ready to work. Right.
It's March.
So, yes.
And then, so my question
So,
is, I'll be like, no, you're wasting my time. Time is
Yeah.
yes.
money.
Uh, those are the kind of clients that I'm picking up. So if I do decide that, right now, if my full-time project goes away and I want to try to use that time in between to do this kind of work,
Mhm.
I need to get better at gauging these clients and not spending too much time on the ones that are backing away and
Mm.
indecisive on what they want to do, right? And I don't now know how to get to that point. And maybe you could tell our audience how they could get to that
How?
point in weeding clients out and saying, okay, I'm not going to go for this kind of thing anymore. I'm going to have to start doing it this way.
On my company website, I have a list of um, characteristics that I'm looking for in my ideal customer.
Mhm.
And, if one of them is, if you needed it done yesterday, I'm not your guy.
Hmm.
Just the some of the industry speak that we hear all the time from people that um are mismanaging their opportunities as part of business, or rebrand their business. Um,
Hmm.
but what I've had to adopt is that your emergency is not my emergency.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have people that pay me a good amount to prioritize their projects.
Mhm.
Um, but also in my contracts, and that's the part that weeds people out. Putting that stuff in your contracts and then in your questionnaires. Like, I have a fee for you not responding to me for 2 weeks.
Mm.
Um, if you're not gonna respond to me in 2 weeks and I'm prioritizing your project, not only are you gonna pay to get my attention again, but you're also gonna have to get in line with the rest of these other parties I have going on.
Hmm.
And that's not to slight anybody, but it's like you can't have an expectation of me to finish by a certain time if you're not able to give me what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I used to run into often was people that didn't know what they wanted in the logo, but they would know it when they saw it. I don't have that kind of time. I
Yeah.
can't.
Because,
Yeah. That would be a whole lot of backwards and forwards for
yeah.
real. And that's what I did with this client. And it just, and then again, like you said, it's March and now she's
Mhm.
reaching out and I haven't responded yet. I'm not sure. Maybe I should be, again, this is me being naive to this whole business thing, but I have got to get to that point if
Yeah.
I plan on doing this when my full-time project ends, right? I'm going to have to learn how to weed these people out. I'm going to have to get these
Mhm.
contracts in place, which I'm probably going to need a little help on. Hint, hint. To, to my upcoming mentor. And then, it will be in order for when these kind of situations happen. Like you said, I'm not going to spend time on this. I don't have that kind of time. If you're in an
Mhm.
emergency, I'm not your person. I need to start doing that. And I think
Yeah.
that's good information for others out there who want to do this. Because I know that that's a fear that people have. For me, not marketing myself
Mhm.
enough, um, charging enough because I feel like I'm not good enough, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm charging like $300, $400 for a website.
No. So
Yeah.
look,
Let me
so
hire you right quick, because
that's what
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I was getting
yeah.
ready to say, like, you
No,
got to when
I have to
you
stop it.
on your website, you should create a questionnaire that has 10 questions. All you need, not even 10,
Hmm.
you could do like 5. And in those
Yeah,
5 questions, first 2 questions, your time frame, not the client, like the client's time frame and your time frame. So
yeah,
they can understand, like, hey, you're working on my time. And then explain the thing like what you're saying is, if you need it done in the next 3 months, I'm not your person. But also, for us to be in, I feel like some of the places and spaces that we are in as women, we're not given the chance to be like, I'm worth it. You have to know you
yeah,
worth it and be like, hey, we want to contact me. That's a $25 charge. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Just to hold my time,
yeah,
because that's a consultation fee. Just like
yeah,
we go get our hair done. Here, they charge me $30 for a consultation just to
yeah,
see and touch and lift my locks up.
because their
And
time is
yeah,
valuable.
yeah, so you have to know
yeah,
your time is valuable, friends and family. That like they have to understand that too.
yeah.
Definitely.
I told her, I mean, I haven't responded yet, but again, I should have charged a fee for them leaving and not doing the
Yeah.
project because, mind you, I had presented design to them when they backed away. So I spent a whole lot of time.
Oh.
Now, mind you, my business is like second to my full time. So I'm coming home working after work and really not getting paid for it. So I'm thinking to myself, now they're coming back because they know that they probably went somewhere else and priced,
Yeah.
designs for website or tried to do it themselves, realized they couldn't do it, or someone else is higher. So now they're coming back to me, because I'm cheaper, I guess.
Uh,
So
you
he
know
I know,
like
me.
I know, I know, I
he
know. Go
like
ahead,
no. Cut it off.
Give it to me real.
I mean, I don't want you or anybody to be the fallback option.
Yeah.
Right.
I think you when you presented what you presented in the beginning, this is what I have to offer you. Now, if you want to get back on my calendar, here's what you need to
Hmm.
pay today.
Okay.
Because there's nothing more that'll make somebody commit to something about until putting their money on it. And if you really
Hmm.
want me back in your corner and working on this site for you, you're gonna have to pay me for it. And that's fair to
Right.
ask.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Because you have other projects, and whether that's true or not, you got other life issues going on. But
Yeah.
you have projects going on, and if you need me to prioritize a project that you walked away from willingly, you gotta put some money up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
at the same time, you made a very brilliant point about women getting the respect that they deserve. And there was a time where I used to do $50 logos and $300 websites, and I had lots of clients.
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
when I went up to where I'm at now, which is a higher number, I didn't have as many clients, but I can manage my day now. I can
Yep.
manage my projects now because one branding client a month will take care of my household bills completely and
Yep.
still have left over. So
Hmm.
I'm talking about mortgage, cars, light bill, everything.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that's one project a month. I don't have to worry about focusing on a whole bunch of randoms, none of that. I have a real
Hmm.
estate client that is doing very well. Every other day I'm sending her a image where she sold a new house or a new house is under contract. And the great thing
Hmm.
about it is, as she goes up, I go up because everyone is
Mhm.
Hmm.
noticing the work I'm doing for her. She's really
Yeah.
making a mark for herself in the community, in her alumni association, in the community, everywhere. And everywhere she goes, my work goes with her, my photos, my design, but she's paying me for it. And it's enough
Yeah.
for me to say, hey man, I can't take that project, to somebody else.
Yeah.
So, you're gonna have to put your foot down, and maybe it means for a month that no one calls or no one reaches out, and that's okay. Um,
Yeah.
but putting a feasible people have to pay you to put your full-time job down.
Yeah.
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 Right. Right.
Definitely. Mm.
So
That's exactly right. That's the struggle.
you'll get there.
She's like,
You're
I
gonna get tired of these $300 websites. Well, you gonna get there.
I mean, seriously, I already am. I'm like, this is taking a whole lot of
yeah.
time. And then, people are hitting me back. Oh, I want this correction. Oh no, let's change this. And it becomes time consuming
Yeah.
doing this thing. So 300 is not near enough.
Look,
So I'm starting to regroup and work on my forms and my
Mhm.
contracts. I really need to dig into that now that I know my full-time project is stopping. I'm gonna have to put some extra time in, working on getting my templates and stuff together and
And it's
charges
an
and
ongoing
prices and
thing.
things.
Even
Yeah.
even when you get to where you think is success, it's still an ongoing thing. I still learn new
Yeah.
things every day about
Yeah.
clients that I probably shouldn't have put in the position that I put them in.
Yeah. Like,
Um,
Hmm.
look, like Jennifer helped me build my website. Like we sat down, she showed me how to do it, and I'm still learning, and I am very grateful for that. And I'm just like,
You're welcome.
Jennifer, you charge how much to do this? I'm
mhm.
like,
Yeah.
it is like she said, it is a ongoing thing. When you build your website, you have to make sure you keep doing updates. Keeping your clients and whoever your audience interested in your website. So when
Hmm.
she says $300, y'all need to be paying her way, way more
Yeah.
than that.
Well,
And you
I
should be
I guess I
charging people monthly too,
Yeah.
for either
yeah.
monthly or an hourly rate to be going back and doing all these updates, because the website build is one thing. The maintenance
Mhm.
is a
Hmm.
whole entire different thing. Like with
Right.
with my clients, I'll make a video and I put it on a private YouTube channel and I say, this is how you do everything on your site. Now, if you need
Okay.
anything outside of that, you're gonna have to pay me $75 an hour, and the minimum is 2 hours. It's
Hmm.
gonna have to be worth my time. And I don't mean to say this like it's like I got it all together, but you're gonna have to make it worth my time for me to start what
Yeah.
I'm doing to
Yeah.
because I'm enjoying this freedom.
Especially if you
Yeah.
have other projects that are on your schedule that hey, this is going to do this for me. This one is just, we're doing maintenance that
Hmm.
Yep.
I've given you the keys to build your own.
Mhm.
empire, your own website. So
Yep.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
People put value on how much things cost.
yeah,
We have seen the most basic of Air Force Ones cost uh $300-400.
right.
Um,
Yeah.
but people value that because they put a lot into it. When people don't have to put a whole lot into their website, that's why they present you with this mismanaged project. They didn't give you all the content ahead of time.
Mm,
Their logo wasn't all the way done. And instead of going in phases of change, like this is change one, this is change two, you find yourself going and doing all these micromanageable changes all over the place, and you're
mm-hmm.
like, by the third one, you're like, listen, I'm not answering my phone.
Yes. Yes,
I
yes,
was going
that's
to say,
exactly
yeah.
it. That was me a couple of months ago. And
Mhm.
we would go through changes, and I said, then finally I got to the point, and I was like,
Mhm.
okay, I'm gonna send you a contract that says this last change that we're doing is going to be the last change, or it's going to be a charge for the next few things. And then
All of a
let me tell
sudden,
you, the changes stopped
yeah.
because they knew they were they
No
knew they
more.
were going to have to pay. I didn't hear anything else after that last change.
Hmm.
So yeah, I have to start being stern with it. And again, if I'm going to try to, do this just in case, I need that income. And like you said, jumping out that plane, sometimes you have to do that. I need to start getting stern with it. So I'm I'm on my way to doing that. I don't know if I'm going to reach back out to this client. Maybe I will, but I need to get some documents together beforehand
And if
Look,
it, if
before I
you
can
if
do that.
you are typically a nice person like me, blame it on the
Yep.
contract. Hey, this is what the contract says.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Shift the blame.
Hmm.
Um,
yeah.
And
because
then
I hate feeling like, go ahead, I'm sorry.
oh no. And then what you could do for the contract, like you can also read other people contracts, take what you want
Yeah.
out and do it like that. So it's a lot easier on you, you
I'll
know,
send you
Mm-hmm.
mine. I love it.
like
Yeah. Yeah, I need to get that because I need something. Yeah, because if I do consider taking this project back, which I may, but again, I have to get stern or it's
yeah,
not going to work. I see it going downhill again, and it being another 6 or 7 months, they pull away in 6 or 7 months. And again, they're going to find that the price is going to change too. It's not going to be as
Hello.
cheap as it was before. Yeah, right.
Today's price
It's
is
not going
today's price.
to,
yesterday's price is not today's price. Okay.
Hello.
right.
So
Uh, all right.
mhm.
So, first 3 steps to take for professional branding. What would you say those 3 steps would be?
Um, Step one would be to know your why. It's not enough to want to make money. It's not enough to just want to be successful. What is your why?
Mm,
Um, I have taken on so many passion projects from people, and it ended up being so rewarding to me outside of the financial. It's just been rewarding. Number two is to know your audience,
Mm,
know who you're selling to. And now when people say that, and it's like, yeah, I'm especially, gosh, I can feel like I'm harping on this, but especially in the church community, we say, oh, I'm anybody that goes to church. That no, 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 because babies go to church, adults go to church, teenagers go to church. Like there has to be some distinction in there. Maybe your ministry is focused on women that are overcoming abusive relationships. Like, do you need to be
mm,
detailed in what you're offering? Because
okay.
it helps in your marketing on the back end. It helps you speak to your customer in a way that connects with them.
yeah.
The reason why the reason why all our data gets thrown around by these social media sites is because they know that it's important to market to our likes, our
Mhm.
Hmm.
interests, the things that we want. Because I am in love with tech gadgets right now. I just bought a drone. I bought me a remote slider.
Yeah.
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 And I'm
Yeah.
just like, every other ad on social media is here's a new drone. No,
Hmm.
no,
No.
no.
Yeah. With the cameras. Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
I flew it the other day and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I waited on this. Like I'm so ready to get my real estate client now and do like a video for her, one of her listings. Yeah. Anyway, what's that? That's at two. Um,
Mm,
know your audience. Um, and three, I say be be open to your designer's interpretation of your thoughts.
Okay.
Um, and the reason why I said it is because it's not to say that the designer is the quote unquote superior expert, but we do a lot of research into different fields, and it's important that we try to create something that will resonate with your audience. And so
Okay.
like I tell you, just one of my processes when I'm doing logo design, I have a questionnaire that's pretty detailed, and most of my designer friends, they will just give the client what they want, and that's fine. What I do is I give them exactly what they asked for, and I give them what I think they should have, and
Okay.
I let them choose. Like, are we A or are we B? And more often than not, they tend to slide over to where I am. Um, and that way, it also kind of empowers them not to feel like I made them choose something that they didn't ask for. Um,
Hmm.
but just the research that's involved with making the connection between branding and the customer is important. So find you a designer or a firm that you can trust that really has your best interest at heart, that will create something that will give you that connection that you're looking for.
Love
Okay.
that. I love those three
Perfect.
things.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be like, so about branding. So I'm actually looking into getting an LLC.
Mhm.
And I do want to start branding more for the podcast so that
Mhm.
we can have that out on the forefront, and Jennifer can also put that on her website, and that could be something that maybe brings in clients as well.
Mhm.
So having a podcast, what do you think are some of the tips, or there's 2 tips that you would give me for a podcast branding? Is that different or?
It's not different, and I'm
Okay.
about to like really be honest with you because I have a podcast.
Yeah.
And I've been paying on it for 2 years now for the hosting. And
Okay.
my last episode came out the day before the pandemic started,
Oh.
so like I have not been back to it since, and that's why I just got this fancy microphone. Um,
Uh,
um, a podcast is a brilliant way, especially video. It's a brilliant way to create several different types of content off of one basic sit down recorder. Um, you have you can cut pieces for your Instagram stories. You can take your highlights and you can post those on Facebook, on TikTok, whatever. There's so many different ways to reassemble the content and push it out on other platforms. You got those same cuts that you made for TikTok and all those, you put those on YouTube Shorts. There's
mm,
it's so many ways to make people aware of what you're doing through a podcast, and the biggest of them obviously is getting picked up or getting your content placed on. Mine is on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher,
mhm.
Spotify, and Android, whatever Android's platform is.
Okay.
So those are the main 4 that mine are on. And then what I learned is that after a while, after you get a certain amount of views, other companies will start taking your RSS feed and they'll start putting it
Mm,
on their website. And so you'll start
Okay.
getting even more listeners than you even planned for because it's on one of the bigger platforms. I
okay.
get an email every week from my podcast host about how my viewership is going, and I still get those, and I haven't uploaded an episode in 2 years.
Oh,
The numbers are
Wow.
still going up on my
right.
last 3 episodes. So
Oh, nice.
it's just making people aware that it's a thing,
Okay.
Hmm.
connecting with their audience and letting them know why they should be listening, um, and making sure that the audio is clean, the video is clean. Those type of things are because I will tell you this: audio is more important than video. If you got a
Mm,
Yeah,
crazy video and you can hear it well, you'll still watch it. If you can't hear nothing and the picture's clean, you
yeah.
keep going to the next one.
Done. Yeah,
that's what
for
we've been
sure.
coming
I've
up
done
through.
that before.
Yeah.
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 Because we've had a lot of requests for people to say, we actually, when we first started the podcast, we were thinking, should we do video, just audio, or both? So we're like, we're going to do both, but we release the audio. The
Right.
audio
Yeah.
is where we're
Mhm.
at.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I would like to thank you for joining us today on our podcast.
Yes.
And
Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
and if you have the time, we would like y'all to go listen to his podcast, join, maybe go to his website for branding. We'll put all of that information on the podcast feed as
Yep.
well as on our website. We would like to thank you. Would you like to leave any encouraging words for the guests?
Your dreams, your goals, your passions are all important. And just because you can't see a way to make them connect to your future today doesn't mean that you should give up on them. We all have gifts, we all have callings, we all have things that we're good at, and you would do a disservice to yourself to allow your life to be one that is made for just paying bills and dying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So on that note, I would like to thank you for joining us on Magnificently Black, and we will close it there. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode. We hope that today's episode inspired you to continue to be the best version of yourself. And remind yourself that you are magnificently black. Everything black is beautiful. Until next time.